Breaking news. Welcome to today's headlines. The Senate agreed with the executive to return to the old national anthem because we want to rebuild Nigeria. SP Akpabio. The Senate agreed with the executive to return to the old national anthem because we want to rebuild Nigeria. SP Akpabio. To my dear listeners from wherever you're listening from, please stay tuned and please do ensure you like, subscribe and share. Now the details. Senate President Godswill Akpabiola said the 10th National Assembly agreed with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's executive arm of the government to return to the old national anthem because they want to rebuild Nigeria. Akpabio said this while speaking at the ongoing 2024 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) in Lagos State. The Senate President said, "We are diligently working hard to create a robust legal framework that will support the aspirations of all Nigerians. We believe strongly that there is no stain in our country that we cannot erase if stand together in brotherhood. That is why we went back to that national anthem. That true tribes and tongues may differ, true professions may differ, in brotherhood we stand. We went back because we want to rebuild the future of this country, remembering that we may come from different tribes, different backgrounds, different ethnic groups, different tongues, but in brotherhood we stand." To my dear listeners, now I've come to the end of our today's news. And now before I go, I'm not trying to hate or send the word of it. But to be honest, I don't think our leaders are it is in of their wisdom to have decided on returning to the old national anthem. You know why? It is not sensible. Indeed, we may come from different tribes. Indeed, we may have different tongues. In brotherhood, we are truly in brotherhood we truly stand. But sincerely, I see it as something unreasonable. But an act of trying to embezzle money. Even when they impose on returning back to the old national anthem. Do you know how much they spend just to make it stay? To me, it is not. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all. To my dear listeners, ever since it has been changed, is there any change in this country? No, there is no change. Everything remains the same. Everything remains the way it is. In fact, I would say ever since it has been changed, everything has gone from good to worse, or let me say from bad to worse, because it has never been good with this country. And now let's move down to this comment section. Let's see what people have to say here. The first comment here says, "Can't we go back to the old price petrol, rice and other items?" Exactly, a good question. If we can go back to the old national anthem, can we go back to the old price we have in petrol, old price we have in rice? As at there was a time we used to buy a bag of rice at 10,000, 12,000. What happened now? A bag of rice is now costing 78, 80,000 naira. In fact, in other places it is 90,000 naira, which is not supposed to be so. Another comment which I have here says, look at this man, happy, a fool of a fool. Can he recite the new national anthem? The answer is no. We don't. Senator in this country, what we have a bunch of idiots who do not know their left or right but just to grab money. And another comment here says, this is to show that all of you in the Senate are nincompoop. All you are after is to cash out and la vida. None of you was man enough to challenge Tinubu when he wanted to change the national anthem, but the citizens rise up to the occasions without sending you people. Another comment here says, fatal on you people are fool because none of what is government. Rebuild with 21 million naira monthly salary for senators against 70,000 naira monthly salary for workers as minimum wage. What a joke, court country. Indeed. In fact, I would say everything is getting worse every day. Everything is just getting worse every day. And indeed, this country is really a joke the way it is being called. Another comment here says, resorting to old national anthem without resorting to old ethics, regional government, state policing, regional resource control that made old Nigeria vagabonds and visionless people in power. Another comment here says, may that building fall on top of you, your family, idiotic somebody. A last comment which I have here says, bunch of intellectual shallowers and shallowness, you would keep taking the country